Hey, this is Nalin. I'm a 3D modeling and texturing instructor. I teach on Udemy and Skillshare. And if you want to check my courses out, please follow the links in the description. In this video, I'm going to cover a question of one of my students. He was confused with UV editor inside 2018, and because there are so many new things. So in this video, I'm going to cover UV Toolkit in Maya 2018. And by the end of this class, you are going to be so confident and you learning a lot of tools there so that you can easily jump and start unwrapping. In this video, I'm not going to unwrap any character or anything. This is just a class of explanation of different tools and how they work. So let's start and learn my 2018 UV Toolkit. Here I'm inside my 2018. And now I'm in this classic interface. So first I'm going to change this interface to the UV editing interface. You don't have to, but that's a dedicated interface for that UV editing. So go to this workspace here. Now you can see it's set to Maya Classic. Click here and go to UV editing. So now I have a different layout which is made for UV editing. So now you can see the perspective view to the left side and the UV editor, and this is the UV toolkit here. You can see. Okay, now basically this is the layout. Now I'm going to use a Maya by default model so that you can also follow along with this class. So I'm going to bring a Maya default model, character model. So go to Windows and go to General Editor and Content Browser. Open that, and here you should find some by default model. If you go to this bipeds category, go to biped category. I'm using this human body here. So left click and drag to this perspective viewport. Okay, now you can see I'm going to close it. Now there's a by default Maya model, human base mesh. So if you select it, you can see some UVs. Now it has already laid out. You can see the first thing is, if you are a newbie, you don't know anything about UV editing, here you can see the UVs, and this lot of grids are there, and this is the 0 to 1 UV space. And if you see this layout, this is the UV interface, and you can see the UV menus and this UV tools or UV icons, and this is the UV toolkit. So these are main three area, and I'm not going to cover any menu things, so because those are the tools here. So now I'm going to start from tools one by one, and I may skip one or two because I never use some of the tools, but I'll try to cover most of the tools. So let's start from this left icon here. Now this is the wireframe mode, and if you go to this right option, this is the shaded mode. Just click here and you should see some shaded option here, some blue color. Okay, now the shortcut is for the wireframe, it's 4. You can see now the shaded is gone, just the wireframe UV. And if you press 5, this is the shaded mode. 4 and 5, you can toggle between those, wireframe mode and shaded mode. It's like Maya viewport. I want to say you, if you are very new to this, you can do the same thing with this viewport. Just scroll the middle mouse to zoom in, zoom out, and you can right mouse as well to zoom in, zoom out, alt middle mouse to pan, and yeah, these are the two things. You cannot rotate it. So this is wireframe mode, this is shaded mode, and this is the UV distortion mode. You can see if I press this button, it shows some white, blue, pink color, something like this, and this is to tell you where it is like destroying the UV. So the red area is bad, the red area where the UV is most of the time compressing or stretching. You should avoid the more red areas. Now you can see these areas, and the white areas are good. Okay, so this shows UV distortion. The shortcut is 7. Okay, you can press 7 to turn on off, and it comes on top of this wireframe and shaded mode. Okay, so now this option is this texture border. If you see, it's on by default, and you can see every cell has a border, a thick border line. If you don't want that, you can turn off that like this. Okay, so UV border, and the shortcut is 9. And this is UV cell borders. If you turn on that, nothing happens here because I have not selected anything. If it's on and you select something, let's say this UV, so right click, go to UV and select this. Now you can see some color border edges. Now it shows this is red, and if you go to here, it shows red. That means this is actually in reality one edge they can stitch together. So this red edge, it shows where you can stitch it. If you want to stitch it, you shouldn't put that leg here on this part. This leg is going to stitch here if you want to. So like that, if you see here white, blue and white, you can say this white area should stitch here, this blue area should stitch here. Okay, half of the white should stitch here and half of the white should go here, something like that. So it helps you to know where the edge should stitch and which is the corresponding edge basically. Okay, so this is cell borders and the shortcut is 8 for that. And this is the grid. So if you don't want the background grid, it's annoying you, you can turn that off anytime, but it's very useful most of the times. And then this option is very good, you can isolate UVs through that. So let's see, for some reason I just want to concentrate on this head and I don't want to see everything, so you can just select it and click on this to isolate, and it's gonna only show the selection, everything else will be hidden. And if you click to turn off, everything will be visible. And this button helps you to take the snapshot. Before we used to that polygon menu and go to the bottom of that UV snapshot option, long way, but now we have that on this interface. You can just click here and you take the snapshot for texturing purpose. If you want to take this UV as an image so that you can texture in Photoshop, use this snapshot to take this snapshot. Okay, then this is the option of unfiltered image. Again, these are some of the options I don't use most of the time, but this is the option which allow the image. It's basically anti-aliasing kind of thing. If it's on, it's stop the blurring thing. You can just read that tagline, turn off pixels blurring to show exact pixel boundaries. So it doesn't allow the image to pixel blur, or so that you can snap the UVs to the pixels or something like that, but I don't use that option. So now I'm going to maximize it. Because of this screen resolution, I'm not getting all of the options there, so I'm going to press Ctrl space to maximize it so that we can just check this. So I can just click on that to get the perspective. So I just used Ctrl space to hide everything else other than these two views, the perspective and this UV thing. And now let me click on this UV toolkit to collapse it as well. So now I have just the UV editor and the perspective view. So now you can see I have some options here. So let me bring this so that I can expand everything. Yeah. So now this option is to turn on of the textures. I don't have any texture for this character. Let's say you have some texture, some diffuse texture. You can click on it to see the textures in the background. Okay, unfortunately I don't have the textures for this. And this is to see the checkers. When we do the UV, most of the time, not most of the time, all the time, we check with checkers. So you can just click on it and you can see the checkers on the mesh, so that you can see where the model is, whether the model has good UVs or stretching UVs. And if you have the image, we don't have any image, so this drop down list is empty. If you have, let's say, diffuse texture, bump texture, or 3-4 textures, you can choose from here. So there will be, if you click it, you will get all those textures, and you can choose the diffuse or the bump or the occlusion, like that. And this is channel display. If your image has alpha channel, you can click on it, and it cycles between alpha and RGB and RGBA. And this is again for the image. If you, let's say you have the image but it's too bright, you cannot see the UVs properly with that image, you can click on it and decrease the intensity of that image, or you can dim that image. Basically you can darken that image so that you can see the UV clearly. So this section is all about the textures. So this is the PSD of Sun, which is a great tool. If you are using PSD textures, let's say you are texturing it in Photoshop and you save that in PSD format, and you change something there and you save there, you can just click on this to update the texture here inside Maya. Okay, every time you save there, just click here to update it. And yeah, and some of these are to brighten the image and the gamma things. So again, I don't use these things too much. Okay, so this area is all about gamma and image adjustment here, just to see here. So the most important options, I use these sections and this section. Okay, so these are the most important. Then let's go to UV Toolkit. Now this is very exciting and it has a very good layout. It has everything in it. You don't have to go to any menu. So now I'm going to start from the top. So the UV Toolkit, again you can click it to collapse or expand. And so the first section you can see here is the selection mode. Let's say you want to select vertices, you can go here, and now you are in vertex mode. You can select vertices. Okay, now whatever I select, I'm selecting in this manner. Either I'm dragging it to select multiple vertices, or I can click like this to select individual vertices, because I am this pick or marquee mode. Okay, and if I go to drag mode, I can paint it. So it's kind of painting. I'm not dragging anything, I'm painting and selecting the vertices. So I'm in vertex mode now. If you go here, it's edge mode. Again I'm in drag mode, so go here. So edge mode, vertex mode, and the shortcut is F9, F10, F11 for the face. So this is the face mode. Okay, vertex edge face, and here this is the UV mode. If you want to see the UVs or select the UV, go to UV mode and select it like that. And this is the UV cell mode. Let's say you want to select the whole head and scale it or whatever, you can go to here and single click to select it. So now I can select UV cell. So UV cell is basically one piece of UV, one connected UVs. Then the selection method. So here, as I said, there are two main options: pick, marquee, and drag. So now you can see when I activate the move tool by pressing W, the third option activated here. Okay, so now let's say I want to move this cell, so I can use this move tool like this. Or let's say I want to I'm working on the layout stage and I'm moving a lot of things to position them properly. So the best way is to use this tweak and marquee option, because when you are using this drag or pick, you have to select it then move it, so 2 steps. But if you use this one, it's one step, just left click and drag. You don't have to select once or move once, so it's one single action, just left click drag. So this is more quicker. And then the symmetry is turned off by default here. Okay, so to use this symmetry option, so let's say I want to change something to the head to this side, but I want the same thing here this side. I want the exact symmetry. So the way to do is just do one side first. So I set this, I want the same thing this side. Now change this to object X and click on this little icon to get the line here. Click on one of the edges to the center of the head edge. Click one of the edges. Now you can see it mirror this side to this side. So this is one very good way to mirror the details of the UV. And there's the selection constraint option, so let's me undo it. You can use some different options to select things. So let's say I want to select texture borders. Okay, so turn on that, and now if you single click, you can select the border. Let's say go to edge and click one of the edge. You can see I'm selecting the border edge by just single clicking. So if you want to select the border edge, this is the way to select it. Okay, there are some other options to select as well. So there are some different options. You can choose UV cell and single click UV cell. Of course we have that here, so we don't need that, but that option is there. You can choose UV edge ring, and you can just single click to select the whole edge ring. Very good way to select edge ring and edge loop as well. Just single click. And here there are some selection options. Like if you, let's say I have select these UVs. Again, if you are in UV mode, you can double click to select the whole UVs on that UV cell. Now I can clear it. I can, let's say I want to select everything else this foot. So just select it, then inverse it. Okay, you can easily select everything else that fit. And you can just, if you want to select everything, you don't have to select anything. Just click on all to select everything. So all, clear, and inverse the selection, current selection. Then you can grow or shrink some selection. If you have a selection, let's say I have this face, these two faces, and I want to select some of the till maybe some of these faces. So you can now click on these options, this one, to grow it. But you need to have two faces. If you have single face and click on it, it's gonna grow both sides, from that face, this side and this side, like a plus. And if you want in specific direction, choose at least two faces, like that. And let's say I have selected these faces and I want to shrink it. You can, so these are basically opposite options, shrink and grow in loops. Okay, so let's say I have three options. I can click to like shrink from this outside and grow from all around, like grow selection and shrink selection basically. So all these options are modes to select, and selection mode techniques, and some selection constants. So everything is here about selection. Okay, then we are going to jump to pinning. So let's go to pinning here. So inside this pinning, we have some different options to pin. So pin basically freezing areas. So let's say I want to change everything else. This UV, I can select this whole UV on this face mode or UV mode, then I can pin it. So now you can see this blue thing. I cannot select that, I cannot move that. That's freeze, you can say. And you don't have to pin the whole cell. You can pin two or one row if you don't want to change those. Let me unpin all. So let's click here to unpin all. And let's say I want to unwrap it or unfold it, but I don't want to change the eyes. So you can select the eyes and then pin those. Now those are safely freezed. Then you can select all the UV and you can unfold it, and it's not gonna change anything there. So you can unfold it by going to this unfold section here and click on unfold, and you can see it unfolded, but it didn't change the UVs here inside the eyes. If I undo, you can see it's not changing that UV. So these are very good options. So now I can again, let me undo, yeah. So I can unpin all, or even I can use a selected or unpin it. So basically pin and pin tool. This is a like interactive way to pinning. So you can take the tool and then with this brush you can hold B to increase, hold B and drag your left mouse to increase the radius or decrease the radius. You can paint the pinning here. So this is more interactive and a more, you can say, easy to use. So you can just paint here and here if you don't want to change those, okay, like that. So again, you can invert the pinning if you want to like pin everything else that area. So unpin all, and again for unpin all you don't have to select anything, but to use this unpin you have to select the UV. Okay, so this is pinning, and then let's go to the select by type. So again, this is the same thing, back facing, and this is basically to select. So let's say this some UVs are overlapping, but I have not checked or I have not noticed those, but I want to check those finally. So I can just click here on overlapping and it should show me some overlapping UVs, and let's click on overlapping. Let's go to this face mode. It works best with this face mode. So let's go to face mode, don't select anything, and click on overlapping. Now you can see it shows here you have overlapping. So now you can again go here, you can double click to select the whole cell as well. So there are different ways to do the same thing, and then move it. Okay, so you can check whether you have overlapping UVs or not by this way. Just come here, check overlapping. If nothing is selected, then you are fine. So like that you can select back facing. Let's say some face is reversed in the model. Let's go to mesh display, and I'm reversing this face. Mesh display and reversed. So this is basically normal issue. Your model face is reversed. Now you have not noticed that, and now let's click here on back facing, and it should, let's go to face, back facing, it should show that face. Here you have a reverse UV. So you can do one thing, again select the face, go to mesh display and reverse. Now you are ready. So you can check that as well, whether the normals are right or wrong, whether they are there is overlapping or not. So if you click non-overlapping, it should select everything because we don't have any overlapping. Okay, so there are some other options like let's say texture borders. If you want to select every texture borders, you can click here and it's gonna select every texture border like this. Again, I forgot to show you a very good trick. So let's say I have selected these faces and I want to select the edges. I can do one thing, hold Control and click on this edge mode. So it convert that selection to other selection. Now I converted that face selection to edge. The same thing, I can select the vertices. I can let's say select the edge loop, double click, and then hold Control and click to convert that selection to vertex. So hold Control and click to convert to no other component type. So this is all about select by type. Okay, then let's go to soft selection. Soft selection is very good to move or transform softly broader area or smaller area. You can select it one UV and turn on the soft selection. You can turn on this by using B key on your keyboard as well. Soft selection, again hold B and left mouse drag to increase or decrease the radius. And now let's check transform. So here I can use this first option, which is pivot. So let's check. So let's select this UV. Now you can see the pivot comes here in the center area. Let's say I want the pivot somewhere here to this left of this UV cell. I can click on this icon. So it's give me that left corner, overall left corner. And again I can click on the center to go to the center. So let's say this UV is here, and let me scale it by using scale tool. Okay, something like this. And let's say the UV is here. Now I want to scale it. Okay, if I scale it from here, it's gonna cross that border. Okay, I don't want that. So I can do one thing, I can take the pivot to the left and then I can scale it so it's scale from that point. So these are some practical way to use this pivot points. Okay, so again this is the selection pivot point, and you can again change this to UV area. This is basically, now if I click on this left side, it's gonna move the pivot to the left of the UV area. Now the UV left corner is here. So same thing, you can click on this right and scale it. And again this is one time thing. If you do that, it's not gonna be there all the time. Again, if you deselect it, it's gonna come back to the center. So this is one time thing. This is not actually moving the pivot and set there. If you want the pivot to a specific location which you want, then you need to go to this edit pivot mode. By going to this mode, you can do it manually with your wish. You can put it anywhere, then click on it again, and your pivot is there. So again you can reset it if you have messed up. And if you have messed up here, you can go to this options which under UV Toolkit, and you can reset everything here. If you have changed a lot and you want the factory default settings, then you can just click reset all UV Toolkits panel here. Okay, so this is transform pivot area. And the move is, again we can move the UVs by using this area. So let's say select the UV, and if I click on this area left, it's gonna move 0.1 units, and it's set to relative. Okay, now that means it's actually moving the UV 0.1 value from that current pivot position. So the 0.1 is not a particular location now. It's just moving that from the current pivot to 0.1 and left or 0.1 right. If I want to move the UV, a particular UV location, such as let's say I want the UV to this point here, and this point is UV 0.1 area, or let's say I want this 0.01 here in the U. I can do that by, let's select this, and I can change it to absolute. And now if I click on U, it's gonna set that on the U 0.1. It didn't change the V vertical things, it just moved in horizontal way and set that to 0.1 U. And if I want to bring that here, again I can go to V and it's take to V 0.1. Okay, and if I want to bring it here, I can put 0 here and click on V, and it's gonna bring 0 V but U 0.1. So it's like putting the UV to an exact position, and this is relative. You can move it like that, or obviously you can move your move tool to move it manually. So this is moving UV, and most of the time when we do UV layout, we move exact pixels or exact distance. So that time it's very useful to give some lower value, let's say 0.01, which is the lowest value, let's say 0.003. And now if I move, it's gonna move very subtle amount, let's 0.01. It's gonna move very subtle amount, and we can adjust it easily. So I'm stopping this video here. In the next video we are going to talk about this create and the other things. I also teach on Udemy, and I have some great courses there. The course links are in the descriptions. You can check those out. So this is Nalin. You were watching Nalin Jona 3D tutorials. I will see you in a new video. Till then, take care and bye.